Listen, before you scroll, this is one of the most important updates I've made about immigrants in the UK, about what's going on in the UK, because this is quite important. So I know a lot of people are so engrossed in the consultation that is going on about the proposed settlement pathway, which is running from the 28th of November until the 12th of February 2026. But while everyone has been busy doing that, something has just crept in silently and quietly. And this is another consultation, not entirely about immigration, but about the immigrants themselves. And this is a consultation that is being run by the House of Lords, whereby they are reaching out to the migrants themselves to hear their story, to hear how immigration and these conversations about migrants is affecting them, how about contribution, about settlement, about eligibility criteria, focusing on fairness is affecting the migrants themselves. So the reason why this is so important for me and for everybody else who is an immigrant in the UK is the fact that for a long time we've been watched, for a long time we've been judged, for a long time we've been talked about without being asked to add a voice onto the conversation. And what excites me is the fact that this is an opportunity for us to be heard, for us to share our stories, for us to share our experiences, for us to share our perspective in all of this. And without wasting much of your time, let's get right into this important matter. So here is what is actually happening at this point in time. There are two consultations that are happening at one go. Most people are quite familiar with the Home Office consultation on the settlement pathway. And I know migrants really, when they hear the word Home Office, panic, chaos, fear creeps in. However, there is another one that is running concurrent to this one. And this one is being handled by the Justice and Home Affairs Committee, and it's looking into things like citizenship, settlement, fairness, discrimination, and how all of these changes that are happening are affecting migrants. And for the first time in a long time, and I know a lot of people are not as familiar with these, in this country, so many inquiries have been done or are handled on a day-to-day. And out of these inquiries, a lot of key learning areas for different stakeholders. And out of these inquiries come a lot of changes, a lot of implemented out of these inquiries. No wonder why, if one is a migrant, this is a very welcome consultation. It's one that I encourage everybody, if you're watching this video, please do go on the link. I'll share the link in the description. Go on there, add your voice to the conversation, add your experience, and add everything that you can genuinely and point of on voice to the conversation, because this is quite key and quite important, and it can be a game changer going forward. We don't know how the outcome will be, but for the first time, we have a chance to become part and parcel of the national conversation as migrants. A lot of people would want to know the difference between the two, the Home Office consultation and this Parliamentary Inquiry. The Home Office consultation is focusing more on the technical bits, the legal bits, and is being run by the government, by the Home Office. So part and parcel of the things that they're focusing on really is on policy, eligibility criteria, and immigration law. So they're really, in simple terms, they're focusing on who they want to qualify, when they want it implemented, criteria, really focusing on the immediate. They are focusing on the numbers. They've got so much to do on their hands. They're focusing on delivery. They're focusing on their election manifesto promises they deliver, which is good for them. It's part and parcel of their job. However, this inquiry is a game changer, and here is why it's very important, and here is where the difference is. So the difference with this one is because this is independent of the Home Office inquiry. This is being run by the House of Lords. It's a parliamentary inquiry. It's focusing not just on the law, but mainly on the people. It's focusing on fairness, on discrimination. Are the immigration laws fair? Are any nationalities, or is there a certain group of people that is being discriminated against when all these policies and laws are being implemented, or basically just being discriminated based on how the system is structured? Also looking into, is any of this affecting integration? Is any of this affecting, visa rules and policies affecting families, family, children, you name it? Is any of this like financial impact on the people themselves. So that's where the difference is. And I think this is where the conversation changes, because it had changed before, but none of them were really focused on the people per se. None of this was being focused on not just looking at migrants as people coming to contribute. So that's where this is going to be looking at, to say, well, if people are to integrate, do they contribute? So this is why it's so important for you to really add your voice to this inquiry. And I will still share the link on the description. And if you have watched this far and you haven't subscribed, please, all the more reasons you need to subscribe on this channel, because we're going to be conversations, because I'm living it. I'm an immigrant that moved to the UK in 2022, and everything that is happening right now, immigration-wise, right now, policy-wise, right now, wise, really affects me. No wonder why I've taken the time and said in my previous videos that this is the journey that I willing to walk with all of you, to share my experiences, to share my insights, to share my fears, my wins, my plans with all of you, so that we can do this together. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so, to subscribe, because I think this is just the beginning. There will be more conversations to be had. There will be more things to be shared. There will be more readjustments and redirections to be shared on this platform. So you need to be here, definitely. And do click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of these insightful conversations, where we're being objective about everything, we're being open about everything, we are at the same time being respectful towards each other, of course. One of the questions that will be on everybody's mind and lips is, does it really matter to have this inquiry, or it's just another waste of time or another diversion? Here is the truth. I think this is important, especially for migrants and also for the wider community as well, because for a long time, migrants have just been talked about, decided upon, judged, counted, of the statistics in their lives, have had their decided on policy. But for the first time, somebody has decided from the migrants themselves to tap into their experiences before judging, before counting, before deciding. And why this is so important, if one is a migrant as well, to this inquiry, is the fact that this inquiry is asking some of the questions that we wish we had been asked earlier. We wish migrants that came 20, 30, 50 years ago, or migrants that had come to the country, should have been asked. Questions like, does all these visa renewals and constant changes, how does it affect mental health? Do all these policy changes affect settling, affect integration, affect even future for your children? Does any of these visa restrictions have an effect or have an impact on financial decisions or financial stability? All these questions are what we thought, or what should have been asked initially, or what should guide policy at least. And some of these questions as well that this inquiry is focusing on really are to do with integration and settlement, because half the time I've noticed that migrants in just one across somebody who asked me like, so you're not scared when you got onto the boat? That's when I realized that this person didn't understand the difference between illegal migrants and legal migrants. Not that it really matters the most, but it really helps understand the difference when people understand then that actually people that came to the country legally are contributing in one way or the other, are contributing in a huge way. And this inquiry will even educate the wider community on the fact that it's not everybody who is here to take. It's not everybody who is here because they want to benefits. And it's not everybody actually who is an immigrant in this country who is claiming benefits. So up to the idea of this inquiry, and I think it will open a lot of that nobody really focused on. So you'll be wondering, how then will I add my voice to all of this? How then can I contribute to this inquiry? I'll put the link in the description. What they want is, you don't need to perfect English or the legal jargon or whatever. You don't need to even be a worker or whatever. For as long as you're in this country, you're an immigrant, you can actually add your voice to this inquiry. And most people will be afraid and scared to say, well, will this not impact my stay or my work? Or no, this is the time for you to be heard. This is the time for you to add your voice to it. All they want is your story, your experience, how all these things have impacted you, how visa fees have impacted you, how change in laws and stuff have affected you. Have you been affected by discrimination, high fees? How has that affected you? Job restrictions, things like that. So it's very important that you add your voice in your own way. It's a story that they are interested in, and my story is different from yours. And yours is different from the next person. But having a variety of voices adding onto this inquiry would actually, on the wider people have, because I understand across people that are really struggling. I've come across people that are quite fearful, and I'm one of those people that are quite anxious in this environment, and this is no way to be living, honestly. And I know a lot of people are going through the same. Every day you switch on the telly, every day you go on social media, it's just anxiety to say, well, what will the future hold? What will tomorrow be like? What will next year be like? And I do have a lot of people that reach out to me and ask a lot of questions like, okay, change a job, would this not affect my stay? My is turning 18, would this not, of questions around this. And now is the time for us to go on that link and add our voices, share our story, to shed light, because I mean, people that make these laws, even the people that sit in government, in parliament, and make these decisions, they can never replace you, they can never be you, they can never leave your story. But when you share your story, that will then give them insight into how you feel, how you live, how you wake up each and every morning and face the world as an immigrant in today's UK. I will be very honest with you. This inquiry, there's no guarantee that it will lead to any policy change, or it will lead to not want to implement, not being implemented. However, this will be an eye-opener for them. This is a chance for to change, where we are consistently saying, but we contribute. And they say, you're here to take our stories, our share, and add our voice to it. It will change the conversation at national level. It will shed light on how much we are contributing as migrants. I came across where somebody broke down how much contribute as a migrant, even just through applying for the visas and earning it. And not so many people understand how much migrants do contribute, and not to mention taxes. That's a story for another day. But most migrants are contributing, and contributing in a big way. So there's a chance for us to be part and parcel of the bigger, wider conversation. It may not bring the changes right now. It not bring the changes to this generation, but for the next generation, because I mean probably their children and future generations. So it's very, very that we add our voice to all of this. And let me say this. And this is from the deepest of my heart. For once, migrants are not just being watched. For migrants are not just being talked about, but instead are being invited to speak, to share their story, share their journey, share their struggle as part and parcel of the wider national conversation. And that is very, very, if you're watching this video, if you know a migrant, share with them this video and encourage them to go and, voice to the inquiry. I'll put the link in the description as well. And also don't forget to go and add your voice as well to the Home Office consultation that is going on. And whether or not it will change things, just add your voice. You just never know where it goes. Mourning and complaining and whining alone without action is not enough. This is the beginning of what you can do. And what a way of starting that conversation than to contribute to such an important platform as that committee. So that's all I had for you in this video. If this video has helped you, please do like, comment, and share with others. And also do subscribe if you haven't done so. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being a part and parcel of this family. And stay tuned on this platform, because this is just the beginning. We're going to be sharing as everything unfolds, as everything shared on this conversation, on this plight. I mean, to be sharing. Why I decided to share is because I'm living it every day. I came to the UK in 2022, and this is my reality. So I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts and what I think about it all. Let's stay hopeful. Let's stay prayed up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.